Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are here and it's time for another one of our end of the year recap videos. And today is a very exciting one. We're talking about the debut of Generational Run, the podcast on the channel, which you're part of.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Emily here because she's part of it. She wanted to be part of these videos. She just wasn't able to be part of every single one, but I saved the really important ones and things that she's really involved with for that. So, Generation Run the podcast. You've been part of pretty much most of the episodes. The podcast started. Now I want to do podcasts for a while. When I did do like a basically talking about things series back like 2016, but I really want to do like an actual sit down on camera just talk podcast. And we started that this year. I said to Jonathan, "Hey, let's do a podcast." Right? He joined, did GTA racing with me, so we jumped to do that. I believe the third episode, I talked about the date that we went on, where we went bowling and to Chili's and all that. And I think like maybe the week later or 2 weeks later, you debut on the series, and you've been part of it. So, being part of it almost from the beginning. How has your thoughts been on the podcast? I know it's one that you enjoy doing.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Constant chaos.
What do you enjoy talking about on it? Just whatever?
Yeah. Not football.
Not football. So, one of our things is sports. Actually, our first episode, I believe, Jonathan and I talked about the Paris Olympics because that had just ended when we started the podcast. And a lot of it, we'll recap vacations. So, he recapped a trip that he had to New Hampshire. Or different things like that. And when I recapped when we went to Boston back in September, we recapped going to see the Indiana Fever game, which kind of ties into sports, but that way they played against Connecticut Sun in the playoffs. More recently, we discussed our Newport trip. So things like that are what we discuss on the podcast as well. But it's just very, very cool to have a series where we just sit down and talk about stuff and, having Emily and Jonathan in it every week is really cool. I think that you've been part of all but like 2 or 3 episodes. Jonathan missed, I believe, 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had 1 episode that Wen was part of, so we've had episodes that everybody's been part of it. It's a fun series to do. I enjoy it quite a lot. What's your favorite segment that we do?
The fact of the week.
Fact of the week. All right. So that was a more recent addition. When we started the podcast, it was sports, politics. There's a political segment that we don't always dive into. It depends on if there's something politically happening. Leading up to the election, there was a lot more of that. And then we talked about like our GTA racing and our NASCAR racing for the videos we do all together. Because it was recorded the day before the podcast. And then we dive into some of the other things. So we did Song of the Week to start and then we had a game. But we added Emily's Fact of the Week. Do you remember when that started?
No.
Was it just like random too? Like you just said I had a Fact of the Week type thing?
I think maybe.
So, basically, we just went with that, and Emily started dropping facts of the week. So, every week, Emily finds some random fact and brings it to everybody with some really cool knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We do Song of the Week. You like Song of the Week, right? Of course, you're big into music, big music enjoyer.
Mm-hmm.
You,
the only one who's usually prepared.
See, here's the thing. I was more prepared before, but you always tend to be the one that plays music. So, like, I just kind of listen to whatever you put on. Right? I mean, you'll play the playlist of songs that I like, but it's the only time I really listen to music when I drive to work. Typically, I call you on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
So I really listen to music on my own for 15 minutes. So I'm not prepared as much as I was before. Jonathan's never prepared because he forgets that it exists. And then we also do Pokemon of the Week. That's new after we did our special Pokemon episode, which It's quite cool. I didn't really realize that Jonathan was into Pokemon as much as he was. And then we talked about it one day for 3 hours at work. And then Emily never played Pokemon until we met. Now you beat a whole game. So we've done a lot of stuff with Pokemon. So that was a whole special episode, which is really cool as well. But again, just doing the podcast is quite fun. It's really something I look forward to doing every single week. Back in October, when we had taken a little bit of a break from content, kind of figuring out how Emily was going to be put into content, the podcast kept going throughout that. And when we do take a break in January, the podcast will keep going throughout that. So, podcast is really, really cool. It's awesome to incorporate that into multiple different things. Not only is it available on YouTube and on X, like this video that you're watching is, but if you go to epiccw.net, which we'll have in somewhere on the screen in the top here, there's a whole podcast section there that has like a little written section about the podcast, and you can listen to the audio if you want just the audio version there, or if you go to Spotify. So it is available in multiple different places, which is very, very cool, quite fun to do. So yeah, I'm so thrilled to have launched a podcast, and by the end of the year we should be over 20 episodes in. We also had the in-person episode, which was the second episode you were in. That was also cool because that was the first time that Jonathan and I had done any videos in person together. Because Wynn and I did a lot throughout the whole history of the channel, but Jonathan and I never had. So he came over here, and we also did a few other videos with him that day. But so I got my hair cut. My hair was super long at the beginning of the year. Ellen did a fantastic job cutting it. So yeah, that was really cool. We'll probably do some more in-person episodes in the future. I could see that happening. Definitely a good chance we'll have one in April. So we'll have one in April. I know Jonathan is talking about getting a car, and by the time this video is out, he'll probably have already bought it. Once he gets his license to actually be able to drive it, we talked about doing videos of the car. So if he comes here with that, we'll maybe do an in-person episode then. So who knows? We'll do more in-person episodes. Those are fun. But I've just really enjoyed the podcast. So you enjoy being part of it?
Yes.
I guess my last question is your overall experience with doing the series. Like, how's that been? Obviously, you haven't done much, like, content yourself. So, like, what's it like doing that every single week and having that set, like, Wednesday nights is what we're recording?
I forget. All the time.
Has it been a fun experience, though, kind of getting into doing content creation?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to 2025. So you guys check out on the last day of the year, December 31st, we will have a special recap video as well. I'm going to be talking about what you can expect from the channel and from the brand in 2025. So we'll see you guys then. Of course, there's more recap videos to come out. But there's one more after this. Before that one, I don't remember what it is. Something we recap. But I'm pretty sure it's launching the website. But either way, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you guys in the next one.